Hello and welcome back to Purple Does Poison, a Druid Blight cast to life. This is level 21 and we're sitting here in the Kundarak tavern with our drinking mates, or rather we're kind of levitating, aren't we, but it was the best I could do. As is common with my recordings, this is take two. I found a novel new reason for that this time around, nothing to do with the game. We've got another little dog staying with us over the weekend, and he's been making a lot of noise around the place. So in the end I had to cut my losses and just cut the thing and try and start again, having calmed him down. Right, so by the time of this recording you'll have seen the mauling we got in the Borderlands. So what do we have to say about that? Well, higher Reaper skulls, more chance for opponents to save, less damage you do, so more spell points needed to kill the same opponents, which ultimately contributed to me running out of mana at the end, as well as the fact that I didn't for some reason go for the shrine, which was another mistake on my part. The big red crowns just hit so hard, they were 1 and 2 shotting me. So would I, or should I, do I think I should be going through on Reaper 4? It's not comfortable, to be honest. It's a challenge, and a challenge I've enjoyed, trying. But if you start getting hit at all, the Achilles heel of this build for me is the healing. Despite the fact we've got 3 ticking heals here, it just can't keep up. So when you get, a good shot and you're down to a third of your health, I could press all 3 and we still wouldn't get back to somewhere respectable, in any quick amount of time in combat, and that's the problem. So if you take another hit after that, you're going to be on the floor. Unlike the regular Druid, which can just one-click heal to full on the lower Reaper levels. So that heal, the lack of the heal spell, does hurt, and that's definitely one in favour of the regular Druid. The fact that I'm still running around in all heroic gear, I've not changed anything since last time. We've just got the caster stick that I mentioned in the last episode. That fact certainly isn't helping us, especially not the fact that we're wearing robes. It's the esoteric set from Shan. We could be wearing heavy armour. Don't forget, the Druid can wear heavy armour and a shield. So we could drastically improve on this rubbish that we're seeing here for the PRR and MRR, and that certainly isn't helping me with getting 1 and 2 shot by the enemy champions. Neither is that fortification, although the red crowns will be going straight through the fortification anyway. The bosses, of course, on Epic Reaper start hitting pretty hard, and that was kind of laughable looking back, that I just thought I could stand in front of that boss at the end in the Borderlands quest, even with the dodge booster thing on, and not die. I was, I don't know what I was thinking there. Probably wasn't thinking at all. But I was kind of a victim, as I said, of the transition in Epic to include these 2 spell-like abilities and shift a little bit, incorporate those with the 2 big level 9 AoE attacks that we'd been using, Tsunami and Acid Well. I didn't give myself enough time to adjust to using them. Certainly didn't use the 2 spell point Carrion Swarm enough. So that all contributed to running out of spell points and our sad demise at the end of the quest. What else have I got noted down here? Yeah, about these 2 spell-like abilities in the primal tree, I'll just give you a quick look at that so you can see where we're at. Spent almost all the points in primal. We're waiting, as you already know, I think, for the level 23 for this excellent evergreen enhancement, and also this one here to double the damage of Shard Storm, and also the temporary hit points. So that'll be some nice extra temporary hit points to go on top of the ones we already generate through kills, which incidentally are up to around 250, I think, is the barrier now of temp HP. I've put a few points in there just for a bit more spell points. What's that? 11? No, sorry, 6 spellcraft. It's 16 in all with the 3 points in there. 16 acid spell power and 11 on everything else. So that's not terrible. And a couple of points in reflex save. So that's where we're at for now in there. Yeah, I was talking about these two spell-like abilities, and as you may have seen in the Warlock series that preceded this one, because he used these two to try and generate some hate from enemies. The biggest issue he ran into was that almost always enemies were immune to one or the other, immune to poison or immune to acid. So to have in the Blightcaster tree a means of removing those two immunities is great. They simply just cast an acid spell on a target to remove its immunity to that. With this everything decays, third tier of that does that for you. And this one, Poison of the Hydra, means the poison spell on an opponent or a group of opponents strips their poison immunity too. So against let's say a boss, if we can lead with the poison and then just go in with our acid and poison spells, these two SLAs are both acid and poison, then we should be doing some really decent damage. I have noticed there are some things that you just can't make unimmune, like maybe constructs are just completely immune to poison and that can't be changed, because I've noticed that Kratos in the Snitch quest, that big box of crates about halfway through that turns up with the lightning storm thing. Try as I might, I couldn't poison that and make it vulnerable to my poison attacks. But generally speaking, that works quite nicely. Obviously, it would be a lot easier if we could just do like with the acid and just hit something with a poison attack and make it immune. But anyway, that's the nice thing. As I said in a previous one, they found a use for the poison spell and this. What was the other thing that we were using? Oh, this contagion thing. Neither of which I had ever used. So it gives the Blightcaster a kind of a unique feel, and it's using these spells. You know, they're being very productive, whereas on the standard Druid you would completely ignore them, I reckon. Yeah, I mentioned that. What's this? Oh, for the level 21 feat, most damage dealing casters who go in up the draconic tree would probably take Wellspring of Power, but as we're not going to be doing that, I just chose to continue along the line of the conjuration. So we've got greater spell focus conjuration. As one of you said, the acid well is going to be our bread and butter, so I thought we'd boost that up as far as we could. That's that. Also, yeah, the Wellspring would be another boost for me to remember, or in my case to forget about. So it's only effective if you actually use it, and if it's just sitting there on the bar doing nothing, it's a bit of a waste of a slot. So the conjuration thing at least is always on. What else was I going to say? Yes, before I forget, an apology to the kind fellow who invited me for a Hunt and Hunted raid the other day. I think I've probably touched on this already, but I just find it really difficult when it's like a group of new people, and especially with content I don't know, and the Hunt and Hunted I've set foot in there and been annihilated in like seconds, surprise, surprise. But I would be just like, oh well, what do I do, and am I going to mess it all up for everybody else? All that kind of rubbish, which is silly when I consider, the amount of positive comments these things have generated from you all. But that's kind of how it is. If you were wondering, I did try once with a guild on Orion, and I got to know one or two of the people in there. That side of it went okay. But the side that didn't was whenever there was some kind of group activity mentioned, like we're running these raids tonight, does anybody want to join in, or we're doing this activity, just something daft with prizes, like find the person and win a prize. For some reason, I was that het up about doing it. I would go to the organizer beforehand, empty my storage of any nice items, hand them over as potential prizes, and say, "Oh, look, I'll give these, but just I don't want to be involved in the thing." And I just thought, what's the point you even being in this guild if every time there's a nice group activity organised, because obviously these take time and effort to plan. What's the point you even being in there if every time there's something like this come up, you're like a rabbit in the headlights? So I kind of failed at that and eventually left. And now the guild that Purple and my other characters are in is, sadly, it's a guild that's just with me. That's it. It's just a one-person guild. I know there are quite a few of those about, but it's not really within the spirit of the game. So I kind of failed there, and that's a source of some disappointment. Although some of the people I met in there, I did end up, doing questing with, and that's kind of how the bear party came to be. One or two of the people there that we quested with reasonably regular. On account of time, availability and changing circumstances, we haven't run together that often. We don't anymore, but at least it allowed me to discover to some extent the group side of things, and short manning a few of the raids as well was nice, to get to know some of the mechanics and that. So that was good. I hope in future to become a bit better on that score, and maybe say yes to a few of these invites as they come in, because I feel rotten saying no. But there you have it. That's my apology. I don't like apologising either, but when it's warranted, I will do it. Okay, so what do we have on the menu today? Well, for a start, definitely going back to R1 after the kicking we got with 4 last time. We're going to try, from memory, we did the Jungle of Khyber last time, didn't we, at this level in Kundarak? So we're going to try the other one, the other big one in here, the Haywire's Foundry. I think that might be a good one to do. There's a bit of history with me with that one. For those of you familiar with the quest, you will know that there's a bridge to cross at the very end of the quest. When everything is all done already, all you have to do is cross the bridge, go into the end room and complete the quest. For reasons best known to myself, one time when I was doing it on my main character, as an epic TR or something, I was there on Reaper 4, battling my way through, and not once but twice I made it to the end, and something possessed me to jump while I was going across that bridge. And for some reason, if you jump going on that bridge, you can get sort of dragged sideways for some reason, and not land on the bridge, land down below. And the quest then from that position is not completable. So I would have to go out, recall out, and come back and do the whole quest again. And I did that twice, once after the other. So my advice is don't jump on that bridge at the end. It was such an ordeal. I think I wrote it into the profile of my character, Fools. Anybody else would have explained you that while running along and doing the quest, but I seem to be incapable of talking and questing at the same time. In fact, if somebody asks me any advice in the middle of the quest, I stop what I'm doing, give the advice, and my character just stands there. Spot the other deliberate mistake. I did actually talk to the quest giver for this Haywire's Foundry before starting this, but it seems all I did was pick up the reward from the heroic side of the quest and not renew the quest so I can do it in epic. So apologies for that. Very typical of me, I must add. So to this point I've done the Borderlands and most of Denith, including the spies in the house. Now that's one point to note. The healing, you'll remember me saying, or you'll be well aware if you're playing regularly, the healing debuff in Reaper no longer applies when you're out of combat. So when you're going on those electric floors in the spies in the house, say, I was able to use my 3 ticking heals to good effect to keep me to keep my health up once it got through the 10 hit points. So that was a nice change to what I'm used to. Oh, and another mistake I've made in here. I've used a DDO after completing one side to go back to the start, only to find I was locked out then of the quest and couldn't go any further. So don't do that either.
The sweltering heat in these tunnels is almost unbearable. Who would want to live in such a place? An earth elemental
Between the lightning and the shard storm, I won't press anything and you'll see it does quite a lot of damage, that on its own, just sort of damage around you. So if you're sort of running along and there's a few enemies and you're waiting to get to the next bunch, I suppose it's a tactic to just have the shard storm ticking and the lightning going in the background.
Viscous fluid oozes from a wound in RC2's side, almost as if something...
Depending on what the opponents are. If they're red crowns, I don't recommend it. Can we make a nice big group of you lot? Now first, are these vulnerable to the stun? No, they're not. Oh, that's a nightmare. So we can't use our contagion on them. That's not going to be fun times. So what can we do? We can probably do earthquake and the salt ray for a single target. Or we can just kill them outright. No, okay. So we're going to have to do some thinking about this. Yeah, that's really going to mess with my strategy. We're going to have to use earthquake in place of the you can see there the oh, we can still stun you, pal. That's if we can succeed with it. I failed with it there. Nice. Yeah, so with the constructs we're going earthquake and possibly acid. Well, although earthquake is doing extra damage anyway, Or we could go Grasping Thorns as well, because that's doing some more damage. That's doing negative damage as well. I'm not casting anything else just so you can see the damage it's doing. It's not amazing, is it? I think it'll get the job done, will it? No. Ah! All this mana wasted. Now what's Earthquake going to be like there? Not good. I think I'm going to need to lean more heavily on these spell-like abilities I'm just not doing at the moment. Get rid of you, Mr. Reaper. Okay. Now that's a nice AoE as well, that Carrion Swarm. I've got to lean heavily on that. Super cheap spell point wise. Oh, I know I don't like hirelings, but this is a really good spot for one, so I'll put Ellie here and just demonstrate this for any of you who don't know. So we target the lever and disable auto targeting. I forget what the default key is for that because I've changed it, but it's handy because it means the lever stays targeted for when we want the hireling to pull it when we get round out of here. Now if we don't do that, all these panels here, as most of you'll know I'm sure, will open up when we pull that lever and we'll have a load of extra fighting to do. And I was thinking about my spell point pool and the battering that's going to take if that happens. So we come out, all this stuff would yield enemies. You can see them in behind there. So once we're out, we just tell the hireling to pull the lever. Oops.
As the north
There we go.
lever locks
Bring
into
it
place,
here.
a freak power surge shorts out the storage area's energy barrier.
Our evasion will be helping us here to avoid these traps. They are timeable anyway, but I always seem to get hit by them. Okay, so if you don't know this section, the other side, start off on the right because the floor will collapse. Where the dark section is, go on that, and then the next flat section after these guys will be going on the left. Now that was obliging. They walked straight into the earthquake. Beautiful. So on the left again, the dark section.
Feel the floor grow warmer.
So that's one nice thing about both the standard Druid and this version. You have a variety of different forms of crowd control, and if, oh my god, the health, if you'll generally find if one doesn't work on something, others should. So we're in a deep hole here. There's too many casters and things. Oof, did you hear that? That was a critical hit from the crown there. That sort of low thudding noise. Boom. Now regardless of fortification, the red crowns will go straight through the armour. Now this is what I mean by the out of combat. Now look how well we heal now we're out of combat. No problem at all. But in combat, even just Reaper 1, suddenly we're struggling like buggery. Did we not get a earthquake in there? Goodness me. I can't work out if nothing happened there or I pressed the wrong key or what. Trying again. Okay, so I must have pressed the wrong key. Having a torrid time here, aren't we? A really torrid time. I'm still not using the carry-on swarm enough because we're struggling for spell points. Must use that all the time. Now he's vulnerable, look, to both poison and acid. So he's taking some damage there. Apologies if you can hear the dog in the background, he started again. Got some nice damage over time going on him, but he's still not.
You spy a slimy leech-like creature crawl out from under RC1's body and slip away into the shadows.
Now what are we going to do spell point wise? It's really not good, is it? I think... Oh god, not all that. I think there's a shrine in here, but I don't think we can make it, can we, before this lot grab us? Or maybe we can. Yeah, there's a shrine there, but are they all going to come out and maul us? No, maybe not. I suppose I could empty the clip on them before we go. Ha! They're not immune to Finger of Death. Okay, noted. Is there anybody else up there wanting a piece of the action? You! Have some of that. Okay.
Rest now and grow stronger.
I definitely need to come up with a more spell point efficient way of proceeding here, because just going through spell points like anything, I think it kind of took me aback that the constructs were immune to the contagion and threw my strategy, such as it was, out of the window. Okay. So the quick way here, if you have a decent jump score, to go on this little thing here, jump onto these boxes. Oh, come on. There. And we're almost at the end of this section. Very nice. Now there's a mega trap on this lever with two boxes. I think one is round the corner here and the other is somewhere here maybe. If you don't have a trapper, or you're not a trapper yourself, you can always call your hireling to you to go and suicide in there. We'd probably be alright because we have evasion, but I'm not going to risk it and lose all the progress we've made here. So you took one for the team, Ellie. For some reason I can't dismiss the hireling now, I don't know why. Don't know what what's going on there. Okay, so we run back. Remember, don't DDO, because you'll end up outside the gate at the start of the quest, and you won't be able to get back in, as far as I'm aware. I've done that once or twice and had to restart. Why can I not dismiss the hireling? It's bugging me. There's something gone wrong there. Okay, so down the middle section now. I think my acid well didn't work there for some reason. So you see, against the ones who are vulnerable to both poison and acid, we're doing fine. It's when they have immunities in those areas that we struggle. Oh, that was better. Okay. Now then, what can we do with you guys? I'll tell you what we'll do with you guys. Oh no, that's not good, is it? Lightning against the lightning golem. Well done. Can we make them vulnerable to poison? No. So the golem construct type stuff, even if you poison them, they can't be made vulnerable. That's just something to note. But they certainly can be hit with the acid. Oh, look at that chewing through. That's nice. What are we setting to H? So for those of you who've not done this before, you set the outer wheels to the same value as one of the inner ones, in this case this one, the scorpion as I call it, and that enables you to move the corresponding inner one, so in this case this one, to that symbol there, which looks kind of like an elephant. And why were we doing it to the elephant? Because it's on all these here, so we need to set all of them to that. So set the outer wheels to each symbol in turn. So we did a H and then an F and then the scorpion, which was that one, the last one, and then move each wheel in turn to the elephant. And as soon as you do that, the ooze will disappear, and this chest with the key will appear. And this is kind of the final big battle room. Can we get you guys all together in the middle, perhaps? as much damage over a time on him as I can. I think we're going to struggle to do too much damage to him, but we're going to try. I'm going to keep abusing that low-cost spell-like ability we have. As soon as that comes off cooldown, we're going to hit him with it. And the damage is over time. That's our Creeping Doom spell-like ability from the Blight caster capstone. I'm just trying to grind him down at the moment with the spell-like abilities. I'm pretty sure we won't be able to make him vulnerable to poison, but I'll just try for the purposes of demonstration. No, you can't. Okay, we still have a few spell points left.
Now it's time to end this madness.
What should I have used against him? Something with force, perhaps?
A toneless voice
Okay,
echoes through the
for
Foundry.
those of you who haven't done this, don't panic. You've got plenty of time to get out.
Minutes, please evacuate.
5 minutes it gives, which is more than enough. Just take it nice and steady. If you have a good jump score, that helps in this section. Sorry for the repeated dog noises in the background. I thought about going and shutting him up, but then I would be interrupting the thing anyway. I'm just going to try and get to the end and then see to him once we've done. There's a little optional bonus, as you can probably see in here, for killing so many defenders on the way out.
Haywire's voice is heard from a nearby speaking stone.
I know you're running for your life, but this is important. Keep your ears perked for further instructions as you hustle out
I'll
of
try and get these into a nice big group.
the blast door up ahead. Keep running until as soon as I see someone reach the exit, I'm gonna count to 20 and seal the blast door. There ain't time to wait for stragglers.
Okay. Not bad. Just missed the one. Earthquake, and then
Rumblings from deep
the acid well.
reverberate down the corridor. Still clear.
Can we make elementals take? Yes, he was made to take poison damage. And there again, look, he's taking poison when he shouldn't be. So that's a nice little boost.
3 minutes.
So you can do it on elemental, just not the golem and construct type stuff. And this is the infamous bridge. So if you look down there, that's the sort of entrance area before the gate that is closed. So if you fall down there, you really are knackered. So just push forward, don't jump, whatever you do. And all will be well.
Haywire gestures to the glowing quarterstaff on the lectern. You feel powerful
That's
elemental
it.
energy course through your hands. The spellcaster might be able to channel this.
So that was quite a challenge, because the main strategy of going with the contagion stun didn't work at all against those things. So I'm glad in a sense, because it allowed me to highlight one of the nice features about the Druid in general, and this build is no exception, which is that when one source of crowd control doesn't work, for sure you've got others that will. The earthquake can knock most things down, but stuff like elementals will just drift straight over it. For those, you've got the contagion here, which will work fine. For the constructs and golems and that, the earthquake was the go-to, and up to now we'd been underusing earthquake because most stuff is vulnerable to this contagion. So I'm glad that sort of reared its head to push us to show this thing has more than one string to its bow, so to speak. So earthquake and acid well was doing just as nicely as contagion plus acid well was. The only difference being the contagion is like an immediate hit. The earthquake, as you saw, there's a delay. But then the earthquake's doing damage as well. In our case, quite a bit more damage. In addition to the standard damage, we've got acid damage on ours from the 5th core in the Blightcaster tree. So that's nice to have if the things last long enough. Okay, I'm going to leave it there because this little dog's doing my head in now in the background. We're going to go and take him for a little walk. I hope that was alright for you. At least we didn't get horribly mauled like in the last one. I will speak to you again soon. Thanks very much as always for looking. Take care.